Brothers and sisters and members, Brother George has given me a wonderful opportunity to be here this afternoon with all of you. So this is oh, hi Chris.
Hi.
This is a wonderful opportunity for all of us to learn a little bit more about the project that we have before us. It's a very worthwhile project, and I hope we all get behind it. So, λοιπόν, θα αρχίσω, θα προσευχηθώ στα ελληνικά πρώτα και ύστερα στα αγγλικά, if that's okay with you. I hope you don't object. And I know not everybody speaks good Greek here, right? Does everybody speak Greek? You speak Greek? So, λοιπόν, at the first ecumenical council, they said this prayer, which I've always found most inspirational. So I will say it to start, and if you just indulge me for a couple of minutes, then I'll say something in English. Εις το όνομα του Πατρός και του Υιού και του Αγίου Πνεύματος. Αμήν. Βασιλεύ ουράνιε, παράκτητα της πέμπτης ηλικίας, ο πανταχού πρώτο πάντου πληρώνει. Ο θησαυρός των αγαθών ζωής οριγός. Ελθέ και σκήνους ημίν, κθάρισους μας από πάσης κυλίδος και σώσον αγαθέτας ψυχάς ημών. Let us pray. Almighty God, who art everywhere and provides all we witness, who guides us to accomplish all we do, we ask your blessing in this our gathering convention as we commemorate our 100th anniversary of our brotherhood and our promulgation of philotimo, education, and philanthropic service. We ask you to remember our leaders, our brotherhood throughout the AHEPA domain, to guide our actions and deliberations and all our decisions. We pray for those who are with us, our families, friends, members, and guests. We ask you to remember those with us today and those who are absent with cause, as well as all of our auxiliaries, the daughters of Penelope, the sons of Pericles, and the maids of Athena. We further ask you to remember the men and women of our armed forces, those who serve, have served, and those who have protected our democratic way of life. We ask your intercession for those who've been wounded physically, emotionally, or spiritually. We ask you to remember those who have paid the ultimate price of freedom with their lives, who have passed from this life into the bosom of Abraham and await the glorious resurrection. We ask all this in your name, for you are God, to whom we give glory, with your all-eternal Father, your all-eternal Son, your all-holy, good, and life-creating Spirit, now and forever, unto the ages of ages. Amen. Διφών των Αγίων Πατέρων ημών, Κύριε Ιησού Χριστέ ο Θεός, ελέησον και σώσον ημάς. Αμήν. Ζήτω η Αμερική, ζήτω το Καναδά, ζήτω η Ελλάδα. Yes, let's get everybody in here. And God bless the Marine Corps, Semper Fi.
And zito Father Pat. In 2016, I felt there was a need that AHEPA should become a part of the solution of 22 a day committing suicide. For me, as a combat infantry soldier in Vietnam, 66, 67, you go to advanced infantry training, they teach you how to use all these crazy weapons, and you think you're some badass. You go over there, but nothing prepares you for war. To see those of your same age who heard the call of duty to go serve their country, and horrible things happen in war, casualties, death, and so, as nothing prepared you for war, nothing prepared you to come home. So you say, look around the room, who has PTSD? Well, that's the invisible wound. That's the one with the nightmares. The ones that have anxiety and depression. And what happens is that individual is so misunderstood that, you know, that guy in our family, nobody likes him. Or the one that doesn't want to get out of bed, you lazy bum. And the way the VA deals with this stuff is medication. Anxiety brings you down. Depression brings you up. Now you're on a roller coaster. And how are you supposed to function? I'm a member of the Disabled American Vets. In my chapter, we had 2 service dogs. This is the first time I started to realize how service dogs, how they work. There were these 2 veterans, and these guys had angry issues. You know, you said blue, they blew up in your face. But they got a service dog. And I would sit next to one of them, and his dog's name was Houdini. And one day, Houdini is now sitting on my foot. So the veteran says, did you have a rough day? I said, well, yeah. You know, I'm business myself and everything can go wrong. He said, I think he's reading your triggers. And that was remarkable. But I got to learn more about these service dogs. There was a family that we had partnered with that they had lost their son in Iraq, and they wanted to keep his memory alive. And we helped them with their fundraising efforts because we believed and tried to do right to keep their son's memory alive. And we raised $45,000 for them. But also it was time to start with our AHEPA fundraising. And I remember in 2016 when it went before just a group like this, it was voted on, and it passed unanimously. But before I get there, I just want one individual. I had to go before their committee to get the approval to go on the floor, and that chairman was Harry Caraballos. I want to introduce Harry right now. Come up, Harry. And I tell you something, it wasn't an easy go ahead. In other words, don't grab a tissue and write some notes on it to expect to get anything passed with his group. And so when I called him up, what do I need to come before your committee? And we had a long conversation. He told me to get a packet for each of the committee members. And he was really interested and he wanted to know more. He even called me the next day. Help me understand this further. And, well, we did have that conversation. We went before his committee. We had the people with the service dogs from K9s, and if there was any questions, we showed a video, and at the end of the day, he says, not only do the veterans need a service dog, AHEPA needs a good red, white, and blue program. And I want to introduce to Mr. Cavaleras.
The National Project Committee identified with this need because it has been a need that affects many families, either by blood, by friendship, or by association. All these young men and women, aunts, uncles, brothers, whatever, there's somebody in a family that had a need like this. And for many years it was never identified, never explained. When the service dog program and this became a reality, that people realized that there was an aid that lasts. If any of you live in your city, you walk and you drive around, you're bound to see someone walking with a service dog. You're bound to go to the gym and see someone walk in with a service dog. I didn't know it at the time, but there was a lady that I would observe for 25 years, and she always had a dog. But I had to get educated to see it. You know, sometimes it's in front of you. And then I became aware of the why when I would see individuals coming in. And you came to understand the need. This is important in so many ways. It's a quiet reflection of our giving. We're not known about it. Once the dog goes to the service recipient and serves, the job is done from our part. The relationship begins and continues. And if the dog has to be replaced for various reasons, it's replaced. And as George explained, he came and gave a wonderful presentation. People identified with it. And it was naturally accepted on the merits, on the reality. And George has come forth and he's brought always a recipient to share their story and to share their experience. It's important that we can go home, whether we as a family, your individual family, or an organization, the Optimist Club, whatever, the church fellowship, your church, your AHEPA chapter, it doesn't make any difference who. If 5 people get together and say, we want to do a family donation, that is what's needed. The material's here, take it home, talk with your friends. And it gives us an opportunity to get off the soapbox and become a reality. George, thank you for letting me share, and I'll be with you. Our family, quietly, has done so. And I do hope that other people will look forward to talking with George about the logistics of sponsoring a service dog. Because you know, we all go to church, maybe not every day, but we go. And we're reminded, when you do for the least, you do for me. And that's what it's all about. We don't know, we're going to help one person. And that one person gets assistance, then his family gets assistance. And then a community gets assistance. So please, let's support this program, let's get out. And remember, it's the small steps that count. Thank you very much.
The first 44 dogs that we raised money for, somewhere like $750,000, we were working with Canine for Warriors in Florida. And we had met the founder, Shari Duval, who came with us here, in Las Vegas, and hearing someone whose son came home with PTSD, well, she wanted to do something about it. And she had somebody to train her dog, and she saw her son getting her son back, that it encouraged her not to stop, but to keep helping others. There were other mothers out there that needed help, and she created Canine for Warriors. Today we have a representative from Canine, Elizabeth. Regan, please come up.
Hi everyone. I'm the development manager of Major Gifts at Canines for Warriors, like George said, just in Jacksonville. And when I heard that a bunch of AHEPAs were going to be in the same room in Orlando, I jumped on the chance to come just so that I could say thank you so much for your support over the years. Canines for Warriors exists to prevent veteran suicide. Ultimately, that means our goal is to see every veteran take another breath. But what we're really aiming to do is see our warriors take another breath that they're excited to take. It's all about giving them back their dignity and independence, reintegrating them with their families, with their society, getting them involved in their community, and working towards goals, unique hobbies, and dream jobs that they're excited to work towards with their new battle buddy by their side. And like George said, Canines for Warriors has seen over 730 warriors paired with service dogs, and 44 of those came from AHEPA, which is amazing. So thank you all so much. Just a very quick note, we actually have a graduation ceremony tomorrow for 7 more warriors and their service dogs, and one of those will be Kelly AHEPA, so we're very excited about that. So thank you all, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Ellie is was raised money from the Daughters of Penelope in Falls Church, Virginia, and the daughters there started a fundraiser, but the AHEPAs were supposed to be there, but they weren't, and so Ellie said the daughters, we're going to do it ourselves, and they raised the money, and I went down to Falls Church, Virginia, and they were incredible women. But eventually the men woke up. The men finally came through. And I'm going to call Brother Angelo. If you would come up and
Thank you, Brother George. Yes, it's true. We finally woke up. I don't know where to begin with this. I may break down in what I have to say. I started talking to Brother George over 2.5 years ago. I needed to raise funds. I wanted to get a dog for the founding member of our chapter. His name is Peter Durgis, chapter 438 from Falls Church. So eventually we got the funds and we named the dog Petra, but there's a story behind it. I started raising money for this by many different events. I have 4 or 5 slides. If somebody wants to see them, it's another subject and how I raised the money. One of the ways was to start a 5K race, 1 mile walk for the last 2 years. And because of COVID, we had to make it a virtual races. And eventually I manned the concierge table after church 30 out of 50 Sundays a year for 2 years running. So we raised more than enough money for more than 1 dog. So the net result of that was I contributed a personal dog for my brother who served in Vietnam, and Sergeant Moscow was the second dog. And then at our church festival about 1.5 months ago, after manning this table many years, some of the other brothers took heart to it. We had one of our brothers who went into his charity foundation and contributed another $20,000. So we raised $42,000 for 7 dogs. And to make it meaningful, let me just read them off. The first dog was Petro for our chapter. The second dog was Sergeant Moscow after my brother. The next 5 are, we named the third one after the Army Ranger. The fourth one was Billy for the Navy. The fifth one was for Nova for the Air Force Falcon. The 6th one was for Chesty the Marines. And I'm halfway there in naming the 7th one for the Coast Guard. If anyone wants to contribute to me later, let's see me, and any funds left over will go into the program for another dog. But there's a story behind this Coast Guard dog that you all should know. I think it's kind of interesting. The Sensen found this bear. They didn't quite have a mascot at the time. He nursed her back to health, but he couldn't get her on campus because it was a bear. So to get through their bylaws, they called it an objective presence on campus. So the name became Objay, O-B-J-E-E, and that'll be the name of the 7th dog. And if we get more funds, it'll be for the other dogs. Thank you very much.
In one of my first presentations, I was invited out in Pennsylvania, and it was really a heartfelt, it was one of my first ones. I was the next to last to speak because in a HEPA family, we go in order, and whoever the senior is, they get to speak last. And we had a grand president that was with us, Jan Spanos. And it was great that getting the support of your grand president of the Daughters of Penelope. Jan, would you come up? Jan had a story she shared that was like cold water in the face. And she tells a story of really one that's heartbreaking. Jan?
Well, my story is probably similar to some of the others that are in this room. My brother Jim had just graduated from Cal Poly University in San Luis Obispo as an aeronautical engineer during the Vietnam crisis, because we still don't call it a war. During that crisis, and because we still had, the draft was in effect, those young men and women who would eventually serve were defrayed until they graduated. So upon his graduation, the first visitation to him was from the United States Army. He immediately left the room, got on the next bus, which was his truck, and drove home to Sacramento to talk to my mom and dad. So as was traditional in our family, around the dinner table, my brother broke the news to my parents that he was not going to join the Army because of his personal beliefs in not being able to carry a gun and kill someone, but that he had joined the Marines because they were offering him the opportunity to use his education and degree with the F6. He served 2 terms in Nam, would have been discharged in February of 1968, but was killed on his way home in December the 15th of 1967. So in honor of my brother, I wrote a check that day for the first dog from the HEPA.
Best President Francos, did you want to come up? I think I saw you raise your hand. Come on up. I want to say something about our past Supreme President. When I was at our chapter level, at our district level, because in order to get to the national, you have to go to your district. And we had with us our past Supreme President there with us, and so he heard my request to come to the convention and to get the approval for having a service dog program. Over the years, he's been a good mentor to me too, and a great friend.
Thank you very much, Brother George. I will not belabor something, but my wife Tula and I have 2 programs of the many that HEPA offers. The athletic program, where we honor are those that have accomplished, but those that are the young people. You know how often we said the youth are our future. Well, the future is here today, and we must honor the past. But the other program is what you are doing here for the warrior dogs. I congratulate you, Brother George, and your peers. You know, we made much of the fact in World War II that AHEPA raised, what was it, $500 million they sponsored planes and so forth. That in Shreveport had its name, one of the planes. What we're doing here today, what we've been doing since this program was instituted, is to honor those people who have been at war, generations, 2 generations of families have been in Afghanistan. And you know, they've been unhappy results. And we look at it and we say, geez, it wasn't those brave young men and women that have been paid the price, but it was not their fault. It was the politicians, it was the people in government that make the policies for convenience and so forth. So what this program recognizes is that we should support the people that have taken the brunt. So God bless you. And I have one experience I want to share with you. It was at this hotel, and we were getting ready to go in after lunch, and we had the young man that was receiving the dog, and I was standing with him out in the foyer, and I had just grabbed a little lunch at the cafeteria there. We've been busy. As I'm standing next to him, the dog started licking my hand. I said, is this right? I said, geez, he's friendly, he likes you, you must have done something nice. Well, I never realized it. It was because I had a ham sandwich for lunch. And I still take it as a acknowledgement of love and support. And I know I speak for my wife, Tula, and George will tell you how originally the program was made, was being promoted. Tula said, have we given to this? I said, yeah, I think we're going to give $500. And she saw the video. And she was crying. And says, you know, don't be such a damn cheapskate. We'll take it out of the cookie jar and we donate $1,000. So, God bless you. We all live a HEPA. I just think I'm
Your name, what's your name? You, with the, here, no, you're with the military hat. Come on up.
Did me like this 2019.
Come on up here.
What is it?
Recognize you.
Yeah, come on up here.
What you want me to say? Remember that.
I know. I want you. See, I was commander for the Disabled American Vets, so I honor our vets whenever I see them.
I'm a life member of it.
And I know we both belong to Disabled American Vets, and I know the good work. And when we raise money, what do we say? Never enough. You want to introduce yourself? Go ahead.
Well, you can just call me Leilani. I'm a retired Marine from a long time ago, late 60s, early 70s. I'm the daughter of what people don't understand, and I'm glad to see more women here because last time the first time I saw the service dogs was at the in Chicago when we had the Supreme Convention there, and what people don't know, it doesn't matter if you're in the Army, Air Force, Navy, Marine, Coast Guard, or whatever. When you're young, you give your youth. And then sometimes when you get older, you don't always have the benefits. And people don't know what a veteran goes through. And sometimes when you give your youth, and then when you get old, not everyone plans on being an alcoholic, drug addict, whatever. And you find many of them sleeping on the streets. They didn't ask to do that. And some veterans can't go to the VA hospital. They serve their country. You don't know what they're thinking or what they're feeling. And like I said, I don't know how much you all are going to talk about it today, but the time I heard it was on 2019, was when veterans, you're young, handsome, go to war and you come back. And many of them, when they come back, when you see bodies and you're young and you see your friends blown up and everything, they come back. I have God, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, but you come back, how do you psychologically deal with the pain? Not every pain is, you can see. Not every pain you can see. But many of the veterans, when they come back, they don't want to talk about it. And when people keep asking you, well, what did you do? What did you do? What did you see? They have to relive that. And when they come back, some of them, when they were in the military, they send money home. And once the money comes, and then their wife and their kids, but when they come back, they're not the same. They're not the same. Whether they shot or didn't shoot anyone, they see bodies. They see their friends. Maybe they're 18. I don't know what's going on now, but you come back, you couldn't drink. And they're changed. And people ask you, what did you do? It's like maybe 10 or 15, 20 years or longer from here, Ukrainian. The people left there just the clothes on their back. And maybe 20, 30, 40 years from now, people say, well, why did you leave? Well, how did you feel? They have to relive that. And when the veterans, they come, they end up losing their home, their wife, their kids, their family. No one understands. What do? They go to sleep on the street. And they thinking psychologically, we've given our life, and we can't even get care or get help. And what I used to say is that people, that only way I think they can really kind of understand how a veteran feels, I think we should have more love and compassion. Not every pain you can see, not everyone you have to walk with the limp or you're limping. It's psychologically, sometimes it's inborn. In 9/11, with 9/11, everyone came together. They didn't stop to see how tall, how short, what color you are. They came together for about 2 weeks. Then we went back to our old self. But, so I'm just saying, as a veteran, I'm not bitter. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. But and not only that, I feel the women, the wives or whatever of the veteran, they should have a Purple Heart, because when they come back, even the kids, and me being a female back over half a century ago was very hard. But you know what? If I could go again, I would. And no one understands me. I will say this, and I'll go. I think the only person that can really understand, my church, I have the best church in the world. I miss them because I'm not there. It's another Marine. And, you don't know what they're feeling. You don't know what they're dealing with. You don't know what they've done until you're in their shoes, see what they have seen. And I have to keep busy, because if I don't keep moving and keep busy, it gives me time to think about what has happened. And I saw the statistic here. I'm not going to say anything about that, but updated statistics, I think it's every second 30 veterans commit suicide. And it's very easy. You think about it. But if you have God, for me, this body doesn't belong to me, it belongs to God, and I can't do anything. But don't think it doesn't go through people's thoughts. And God bless you, and I'm so glad to see the women are here. But again, I laugh, I have a good time, but I have a good group at the AHEPAs. Thank you. And God bless you. Okay, you want to get my name? Look, I'm a native from Hawaii. I was born in Hawaii. My godparents were from Greece. I was baptized as a child by them. So I'm Hawaiian Greek Orthodox. Now, he asked me my name, I'll tell you. One time, you call me Leilani. It's the Nidarish Pele Leilani Kai Pudalingus Nairo Nakana.
You know, when that veteran comes home, he's hard to have a conversation with anyone because nobody understands him. But except for a veteran to a veteran, it's almost like there's another language out there. But you said one important word, God. Thank you. I want to call now the newest daughters, the maids of Athena. And I'm proud to say they're from my chapter. And we have two representatives here, Alana and Michaela Pytel. And not by coincidence, but thank God, they're my granddaughters.
Hello, my name is Alana Pytel. This is my sister, Michaela Pytel. And we're from the newest chapter in Homedale, Theodore 282. We first started our chapter in April, and in our first few meetings, we realized the importance of what a service dog can do for veterans suffering with PTSD. As a group, we wanted to have a fundraiser that could sponsor a dog for a veteran in need. We realized the necessity of raising money for service dogs, so we ordered bracelets to sell and spread awareness towards others. But as we were waiting for those bracelets to come in, we wanted to start right away. So we started a GoFundMe page, and we have already raised $625 in a week and a half, maybe. And we are also having a fundraiser in the fall for a community where there will be a presentation from a veteran and to show proper health care and wellness for their pet. Also, my Aunt Judy was inspired by the cause, and she will be contributing to our goal and has committed to donate for the purchase of a second dog. The first dog was donated after her husband, Louis. The service dog named Louis was recently assigned to his veteran, where my Aunt Judy was able to hear from the veteran and how blessed they are to have Louis by their side. Please help donate to the newest chapter of Maids of Athena, Homedale, New Jersey chapter. And if to donate, please come to me and I'll show you. Okay, thank you.
I don't care. Whatever it takes to get more money to help out veterans, I don't care. But you know something? We don't have a daughters chapter. So how remarkable is it that these young girls, about 18 of them, they wanted to be maids of Athena. And so, hey, we got in touch with the national, and the daughters also came, leadership. They swore them in. And so the thing is that, well, you need to have an advisor, and usually it's the daughter. So it was sort of suggested that, well, it has to be an advisor then from the AHEPA. But this person kept walking towards me and closer and telling me we have to have that advisor. So I looked at it. Should I raise my hand? The only thing I told them, and I didn't tell them anything about a service dog, I said, look, what AHEPA is all about is being able to help those less fortunate than ourselves. And for you to go and raise money for that effort, my job will help you to meet that goal. And amongst themselves, they decided that they want to do the service dog program. They're going to do it by the end of this year. They will have that 6,000. But also my sister-in-law, my granddaughter talked about my sister-in-law, and she sponsored a service dog. And what happened was, because of the situation, couldn't go to the graduation, But they had Elizabeth set up a Zoom with the family. And so we got to see the veteran, hear him, and see the dog. And he was pretty nervous. He excused himself, but he said some things, but then later he put it into a letter. And I want to read that letter to you. This is a veteran talking to someone who has sponsored a dog for him. And this is pretty much, he speaks for all these veterans. And he writes, I think our Zoom meeting was not enough for me to thank you properly. This is my attempt to do so. You donated a lot of money to have Louis placed with me. I just wanted to say Louis is home with me, and we have a few very successful outings. He performed well, and we will be a great team because we both are dealing with new things and adventures together. I am sorry for your loss. I am sure your husband was a wonderful man, somebody smarter than me, and he surely was a good guy who left too early. However, in death comes new beginnings. Louis is my new beginning. I have been out of the Army since 2007. I have served tour in Iraq. I have been needing someone like Louis in my life so long ago. So you must understand my thoughts about my Louis and his ability to help make things easier for me and my quest to give him a loving home. Okay, ma'am. I'm babbling and want to conclude with a solid thank you for your help. It is definitely very helpful to me. It is a great thing to have Louis here with me, and I am so grateful for your care in this situation. Thank you, Charles. Okay, he's in the house. You know that 800-pound gorilla? He's in the house. My pleasure, look. Okay. When I went to Las Vegas in the beginning, it was a committee of one. And I was looking for all who might be able to help in this cause. And we had became friends way before. And so I went to him, I said, hey, I need your support. He said, sure, what are you running for? Not me. I just said, look, it's this program. And I'm going to tell you, on day one and today, he is really great, wonderful supporter, and I thank him and his friendship. Ladies and gentlemen, our Supreme President, Jimmy Coquetas.
Thank you, George. And thank you to Bob, to Karen, the team, to Duke. There's a bunch of names. Again, it's a team. It's good to see you here, brother. It's good to see you here. Glad to see that we were able to make a difference. Saddened to see that the difference wasn't made already by the government and other agencies, because they really got to be looking out for you much better, for our vets. I mean, I have a tremendous amount of respect. We should all have a tremendous amount of respect for our military, and they should definitely be taken care of better. As George said, I was a supporter from day one, and I'm glad I was, because I'm glad George kept pushing and his team kept pushing, because it's not easy to get something like this off the ground. It sounded big, maybe it was complicated. It went outside the community, which is still wonderful. In terms of impact, it's as great as any program we've ever had. I encourage everybody. How does the commercial go? I'm not only a client, no, I'm not only a member, I'm also a customer or something like that. What's that? Okay, so yeah, somewhere out there, we've got a dog as well. We paid the more expensive price, just so you know. This one's much more reasonable. All of our leadership, whoever's here, whether you're chapter presidents, district governors, you should encourage chapters. $6,000, let them come up with a 10-year plan. It's okay. It'll be a 10-year plan, it's all right. $600 a year for 10 years is $6,000. It's okay, we'll take the dog 10 years from now, we'll get the dog. Because if 400 chapters do that, we'll have 400 dogs. So, on an individual basis, districts, or 4 or 5 people, just, you know something, 6,000 might be a lot, but I go for 1,000, 6 people, boom. Okay, but this is something you should all do. I feel happy just knowing that, again, there's a dog out there. Do we call it Tommy? Or Tommy. Okay. After my uncle, who was also a good friend to the brothers here and a military person as well. I remember he used to go up to his attic in Poughkeepsie and play through his Foot Locker, him and my Uncle George's Foot Locker. One was in the Marines, one was in the Army, and play around with all the stuff that they came back with. Thank you to all the supporters of this wonderful program. Thank you to George, Bob, Karen, and the team, and everybody else who continues taking it forward. It's been a difficult couple of years with COVID. Hopefully now as we get back to business, it'll grow even greater. I know they've got a great team now that they're working with, Long Island, I believe? Smithtown, okay. It's on the way to the North Fork, which we go to once in a while. I look forward to stopping in one day and see the training myself. I just encourage all the brothers and sisters, make a difference. And if you want to make a difference, you're going to hear probably a great story coming up. This is a way to make a difference that you see and a difference that you feel, and make a difference for somebody who's deserving of it. So thank you, George, for your courage. She wants to talk to me? Only to me? To George. You want to talk to George?
I'm sorry, but the daughters...
They're not starting, they're waiting for us to finish. Yes. Somebody just came up here and told us that they're waiting for us to finish. So don't worry. Yes, ma'am.
I have one more thing. The reason when I mentioned about the men coming back into their wives, their homes, and children, on the streets, I know many veterans that have dogs. Those dogs have brought them back to reality. It has helped them. And I use my little story, but I'm saying this is so important. I think even people that aren't military have dogs that have service dogs. So they have helped.
They want to listen. Thank you. The sons, before you guys leave, anybody want to say something? Does somebody want to come up here? If somebody does, please come up. Please come up. Why don't all of you come up? All of you come up. Come on up. Bring everybody up with you. Tim, Ryan, bring everybody up. So again, thank you, George. Thank you to the team. Thank you. A special thanks to everybody here who has supported the program in any way whatsoever, whether it's advertising, kind words, or actually doing the fundraising and getting a dog for one of our brave warriors. So thank you all. God bless. Here's our Sons of America to say a few words as well, our junior order.
As I heard my cats back in here, I just want to say that we are very excited to say that at least as of last week, our dog, Pericles, came out of training, I want to say, and will be shortly, very soon, matched with a veteran. And we couldn't be happier. We've been waiting for this for some time now. About 3 presidents ago, PSP Gregory Berlumis told us about this, and we were ecstatic. We're like, that sounds phenomenal. That is definitely something that we want to hop on board with. So he told us about it. 6 months later, we had the $15,000, and we said, here, take it. Like, we're getting a dog. And recently, Tim Noitzis, our current president, said, hey, there's a new vendor. We can get another dog. And we're like, okay, we need another 6 months. He's like, no. They're only 6 out now. We said, yeah. Go ahead, we're doing it right now. So we can definitely look forward to our current dog being matched with a veteran very soon, as well as this upcoming year, I think we can count on another donation. So very excited to announce that.
You know, over the years that I've been in AHEPA, we always speak about the junior order, the mate, the son, the future of AHEPA. To me, they've always been the present. And here they are with the exclamation point. Yes, they are here. Yes, they are relevant. And guess what? The future of AHEPA is in good hands of these young men. I thank you, the son, God bless you. God bless you.
Chris, what time is the accessible? Is it 7 o'clock? The accessible bus for tonight? 7:45.
I just want to call some, Nancy, I always spelled this right, Jurtis and Tina Papadopoulos, daughters of Penelope of the Orient Chapter 130 in Boston, Alice Daenerys, and Tom, Chapters 24 Boston. Can you please come up?
This is supposed to be 1 o'clock.
Thank you, Brother George. Back in 2018, when I attended the National Convention for the first time, I learned about the dogs. I am very patriotic, and I have a lot of feeling for people. And this was something that I wanted to bring back to my chapter after learning about it, and I thought, we can do this. We can raise some money for a dog that will help the vet. And being as patriotic as I am, I know how valuable animals are to people, whether they're vets or whether they suffer from other kinds of things, that animals are very good to have around. They help ease different types of pains. And so together with my chapter, Orion Chapter 130 in Boston, with the Boston AHEPA Chapter 24, we held a fundraiser a few years ago. Because of COVID, we haven't been able to formally present the check, but we would like to present the check for $6,118. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I met them in Atlantic City in 2018, and they told me how moved they were. But they give us a check here for $6,118.09. $6,000 is going to go to a service dog. $118.09. Well, that goes into miscellaneous. And what we have done with miscellaneous money, I just want to share something with you. That one of our supporters early on, I met her, I guess, 2016, 17, at our Cancer Foundation in New Jersey. And she came up to me, she was the grand president, she said, I love your program, I'm going to support this program. And that she did. And during that convention in Atlantic City, something tragic that she lost her grandchild. But you know what? Her daughter said, Mom, you're going to that convention. She came. And that was the Grand President Eva Jean. And I'm always grateful to her. So in her memory, we took this miscellaneous money and we were able to sponsor a dog, naming it Eva Jean. But there was other miscellaneous money. And what do we do with that miscellaneous money? We had a brother, Pastor president, Andy Zachariadis. And Andy was very close. We served in the same district lodge together. And he had a grandson that was born, but had complications. Unfortunately, 5 months later, he lost him. But to keep his memory alive, we raised that money and we named it after his grandson, Marcus. And Brother Andy gave me permission to share the story with you. Again, we have the other opportunity to say the word Marcus again, because he came of this earth. He was here for a reason. God's reason. I want to introduce, I got this little note, a little message that it came at the time where I'm very moved by it. And I want to call up Kathy Lellis. And Stephanie Lellis, her daughter, wrote me this note. And I was so moved by it, and I asked her, hey, if you're going to be here at the convention, just share it with me, because it's short, but it hit the heart. So, thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, brothers and sisters, and our wonderful guest of honor. It's a pleasure to be here today with all of you at this convention and be among all of you. As a member of Sparta number 18, District 21, in Stockton, California, a chapter which is known to be small but mighty. We made it a priority to assist not only our Daughters of Penelope national projects, our local projects, but also AHEPA Service Dogs for Warriors. We felt the importance of helping our America's soldiers, our soldiers. And they are truly our heroes. Because of our fundraising efforts, large and small, we sent our first donation back in January. And George has asked me to read the short letter on my daughter Stephanie's behalf. Dear Brother George, on behalf of the members of the Daughters of Penelope Sparta Chapter number 18 in Stockton, California, enclosed is a small check in the amount of $250 to go towards an AHEPA service dog of your choosing. This humanitarian cause is such an important one. We realize that many of our service men and women have given so much of themselves, both physically and mentally. And we as a nation truly need to understand the challenges they face when they come home from war. The road to recovery is a long one, and the companionship of a service dog is especially necessary, as I know a few friends that have a service dog. We are honored in contributing to the AHEPA Service Dogs for Warriors program and hope to hear which service dog and veteran we were able to assist. Sincerely and Theta Pi, Stephanie Lelis. And at this time, I am pleased to announce and present to you, George, another donation from our chapter, and match it with my birthday gift from yesterday to you, because your program needs it more than I do. And a cash donation from our AHEPA chapter president, Tom Tarchanis, and his wife, Dina. As you work tirelessly in placing a dog with a veteran, please keep our heroes in your help, in your prayers, and your thoughts. Thank you for your service.
No, not so fast. I didn't know I'm getting her birthday gift. I think it's only right now that we all say happy birthday.
It was yesterday.
It's okay. All right? So, ready? And Kathy, okay, come on. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kathy. Happy birthday to you.
We go say that.
Is there anybody else that would, right now, I want to call upon I want to call upon Mrs. Chris.
District 16. District 16 first.
Oh, District 16, I'm sorry. The love of my life there is.
It's you, Mayor.
I'm sorry, District 16, they're great. They're with their life steady. I'm so sorry. I just lost my place in my notes here. So please come up.
Come on, Mary.
Come on, Mary.
Just stand in front. You stand in front. Come on.
Which is in
No, I'm not just calling.
I charged it. There you go. You can sit there if you want.
On behalf of District 16, the Delta District, almost all stop and remember now, these gentlemen that are receiving, these warriors that are receiving these animals, these are the people that make it possible for us to have the freedom to be here and to carry on our AHEPA, to have our meetings every year, to do the simple things that we just take for granted a lot of times in this country. And this is a very simple way for us to turn around and say thank you and try to help you back, bring you back to the life that you want and do and would like to continue living. So on behalf of District 16, I'm going to present you with a check. Where's Katina?
Right behind.
Okay, take over, Katina. I was looking for it. You should let him find the microphone.
Thank you. Thank you, Fred. Okay, on behalf of Delta District 16, first of all, I want to tell y'all who District 16 is, because if you're like us in the meeting rooms, they say district, and I'm like, where are they from? Where are they from? So in order of, on behalf of the 100-year anniversary, we will start with the states with the oldest chapters. And I have to bring this up because my papu was a founder of chapter number 8 from Shreveport, Louisiana, who did raise the $350,000 funds in 1945 for that airplane. We have a picture on the airplane. It says AHEPA chapter number 8, Shreveport, Louisiana. That's a lot of money for that. So we are District 16, state of Louisiana, Oklahoma, Texas, which is like 3 states, Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas City, Kansas, and Arkansas. So we are big. We have Chris Cates and myself were our past district governors, and in 2017 and 18 we heard the program. We were passionate about what we heard with the dogs and the presentations. We started raising funds for our first dog. The name of our district is Delta District for many reasons, which is an unbelievable warrior name for a dog. And we are keeping with that Delta because we can't come up with a better name. So in 2019 in Chicago, we donated $15,000 for our first dog. And Jimmy and Elizabeth Ariatis are showing you our dog, Randy the veteran, with our dog, Delta AHEPA, who graduated in April. And I do want to tell you, we were on Elizabeth, we were on the video watching the graduation. It saddened us, but George helped me understand as a veteran. And they talked about Randy was not able to come out of the back room with the other 3 veterans that were graduating that day because of his anxieties. And that tells you how much our veteran Randy needed the dog that we sponsored. We prayed for them, and we're hoping, Elizabeth, that if we could ever send a note from our district that came up at our convention, and because we didn't get to hear him, we would love to be able to send something to you to pass along to them. So if you will help us with that, we're thrilled you're here today. That was our first dog. Today, we just gave George the check for our second dog, which we voted at the convention. We want this one to be a female dog, George. The men, 100% passed to allow to have a female. We have 21 chapters in our district that participated in collecting these funds. We are halfway through our third dog. We've collected up to $24,000 at this point, and we want to continue doing our program. God bless.
I too know Shreveport, Louisiana. I took my advanced infantry training in Louisiana, place they call it Tigerland, and I did visit Shreveport. It's a beautiful town, and I just can say, bottom of my heart, you guys are great. You've always been there for me. I love the conversations we have together, and God bless all of you for your efforts.
Thank you.
Hold on,
Mary. Get out closer, will you, please? Yeah. That's it. Okay. A little bit closer. All right. Anthony, a little more.
You want me?
A little more. That's it. Stay firm, everybody. Look here. Hold on. One more here.
Thank you.
Okay, gotta get the sign here. Just a second. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, I got to work. Yeah, I'm last. Good case. Next time you say something before. I didn't hand it to you. I didn't hand it to you, Des.
What are we doing? Because
Well, Katrina was going to say, this is what we did over last year.
What I was happy to see you all supporting the cause of this great event, the Warriors. I'm Demetrius Kovatsas, past District 3 Governor, which persists Washington, Virginia, North Carolina, and part of West Virginia and Maryland. It can't be any better way of supporting and helping our veterans that we're here celebrating life, that they gave their life for us. In reality, we all know, but yet nobody understands what PTSD is all about. It's another form of slow death, cancer. Even the professional psychologists and beyond, they don't have any comprehension what's all about it. I've lost by half a dozen friends of mine, and most of, I don't know, but the ones that would have served before, most of us are during service time, we're robots. We're taking orders and we follow orders. But once we get out, it's a different world. the difference between day and night. And that's what, when it hits home, as we say. For some that they have not experienced the suicidal effects, can't understand the reason why. In my chapter, which is in Bethesda, Maryland, initiated a program, and I hope the rest of us here can follow up, recycle all materials such as steel, copper, aluminum. Instead of going through the dumpster, the landfills, all those are recycled materials. Take them to the recycle centers, to the junkyards, and collect whatever you collect, $1, $5, whatever, and turn it back to your chapter, and earmark service dogs, or wherever your chapter decides to do. But as I say, penny here, penny there, the kettle fills up. We all give to the Salvation Army and all the other causes, also AHEPA. We donate so much, that's what AHEPA is all about, philanthropy. But we need to do a better job of supporting our own people and our own service personnel. And the service dog is not a cheap avenue. It's cost about $50,000, $60,000 to buy a dog and train the dog and beyond. It's a big cost. So far, I believe we have over 100 dogs.
Just under.
Yeah, just close to 100. Yeah, close to 100 dogs throughout the country. That's a lot of money, but it's a lot of work. And thank you all for supporting this cause. Thank you again.
This is where the lunch, this is where the breakfast was. The same room as where the breakfast was. The same room.
All right, thank you. I just received a check here from Peter and Georgia Suris from Arizona. I thank you because these are the miscellaneous funds that we get that collectively will go to another service dog. And such a collection also, I want to mention to you, these miscellaneous donations of $2, $100, whatever it is, collectively, we raise enough money to go to the Archbishop of Itaforos and gave him the opportunity for him to name the dog. Itaforos, it means the barrier of hope. In less than 5 seconds, you know what he said the name of the dog was going to be? So obvious, hope. And that's what these dollars represent. It's not a small donation. Collectively, it's helping another veteran. I thank you. I want to call up one of my heroes here in AHEPA, and he's always been, because he's done an incredible job doing good AHEPA work. And that's my good friend Craig Deros. Craig has created a program up in Flint, Michigan, where they had the tainted water, and he developed a program to raise money, get milk for the citizens of Flint. And when I heard about this story, I think it's one of the pillars of what AHEPA does. Craig?
Thanks, George. Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. My name is Craig Theros. I'm the president of Ann Arbor Chapter 195. And this is Nick Mahopoulos, also also 195. From the beginning, I've always thought a lot of your program, and I always wanted to be a supporter of it. Our chapter to be a supporter of it. This year, we had a golf outing, as we do every year. And historically, we've always made the money for educational scholarships. This year, we wanted to do something a little different. So we decided to sponsor a dog, and we had our outing, and we fundraised for the total $6,000. So I just wanted to present a check to George today. We don't know what the name will be yet, but George, I want to thank you, first of all. I want to thank you.
I want to share something, because I feel offended that there's an invitation here from the Buckeye District 11 cocktail party.
You know what? I got two. You have one.
Thank you.
Is that okay, Bill? All right.
I want to thank you.
No, thank you.
Because if that's the back when they start, you know.
So here you go.
My daughter's at one. Psst, Elena.
So hopefully this gets you a little closer to your $1 million, and looking forward to seeing more work from you, buddy.
Thank you so much.
He's way over, Chris. The daughter's
All right, anyway.
way over.
Yeah. We're going to end it up right now, and what I want to do is, right now, I want to introduce our main speaker here. I have got the opportunity to know Manny, and Manny and his dog Oscar, and the dog official name is Oscar Madison. So, Manny, he's our retired Marine Sergeant. And I'm so glad that you're with us and helped us to raise some more funds.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Manny Koutalidis, and I want to say I feel very honored to be here, speak in front of you, and the AHEPA organization that does so much for other people, and getting to know a little bit about what AHEPA does. When George asked me to speak, I told him, this is not my first time speaking, but I was very happy, And he said, well, what's different this time? I said, well, I'm going to be around so many people that can actually pronounce my last name, and that normally doesn't happen. I was the kid in school where everybody had two names until they got to me. And it was Manny, I'm like, that's me. And my name is phonetic, but as you know, it's difficult for other people to pronounce. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I enlisted in the Marine Corps in 1998. Wasn't too soon afterwards, 9/11 happened. I used to actually work across the street from World Trade Center, so I knew it was just a matter of time before my number was called. And in 2003, early 2003, I got my orders to go overseas to Iraq and Kuwait in support of Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation Iraqi Freedom. And I did that, and I felt comfortable, and I was properly trained, through the Marine Corps. And I did my job. I did my job well. And I was there for about a year, and I came home. And little did I know when I came home, I wasn't the same person that I left as. And really, coming home was the hardest part. And I only know that now. Back then, I thought I was doing well. I thought I was happy to be home and everything was right. Little did I know that I was suffering from this thing called post-traumatic stress disorder, right? The anxiety, the depression, the hypervigilance, things you're feeling that you really can't explain, that only another vet can understand. And that's why I felt so comfortable with George, because him being a combat vet himself, he understood where I'm coming from. I came home in 2003, and my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, says I wasn't the same person I left, and I was the last person to find that out, right? And I had, spent a bunch of years really struggling. And again, I was the last person to know it. And in 2008, I got a job as a New York City firefighter. And that was the calling. And I had the greatest job in the world, and everything was great. And inside, I was a wreck, right? Outside, I was stoic, and I played the Marine role very well, because that's what I was taught. I was taught not to show emotion. I was taught self-reliance. I was taught adapt to overcome. So in wartime, I was great. And I love the Marine Corps, and I would never give up, and I would never look back on what I did without great feelings. So I was trained very well, but I wasn't trained to come home. And I spent a long time suffering until I was able to do that one thing, that vulnerability, and I was putting my hand up and asked for help. And big part of that was actually receiving my dog, Oscar. And this is the fundraising you guys have done, the $1 million that we're close to getting, and the 100 dogs that, close to 100 dogs that we're able to fund, right? And it's not just the veteran that gets helped out, it's the family, it's the co-workers, it's the friends. These are all affected by, the dog. And like George said, this is Oscar Madison. He has a brother, Felix Unger. And I hear some of the people laughing. Nobody young was laughing because nobody knows what the show has been canceled since the 80s, but this is one half of the Odd Couple. And it's funny that he was paired with me rather than Felix, because he is like me, right? He's a little messy. He's a little, he was the one part of the Odd Couple. He was the messy one. He was the one that liked to drink beer, and he was the one who was opposite Felix, who was the neurotic. He was, so if I got Felix, that would have been the wrong dog for me. So it's amazing that I was matched with Oscar. And just tell you a little bit what he does for me, right? And right there, I was sitting right there before, and knowing that I was going to come up, and I felt nervous. And he saw that, and he popped up, and he came in, and he put his head on my knee. And, he puts weight there, and that's for him to tell me, like, I know something's up, right? And I'm telling him, sit down, even though he's really doing his job. And he really wouldn't sit down until I acknowledged to him that I was doing all right. And he knows before I know when I'm not doing all right. He sleeps by my side, right? He's trained in nightmare mitigation. What that means is that he's listening. He's standing the post. He's standing sentry. And if I'm having a nightmare or a flashback, he jumps up and he'll pull the covers off me, and he won't stop until he knows I acknowledge that I'm okay. Then he goes back to sleep. And that's what he does. That's what he does for me. And there's other things he does, and just being a dog is amazing. And I wasn't the greatest of persons when I came back, And I put my family through a lot. And I found other ways to deal with what I was going through, other unhealthy ways, through the bottle, through other means that put my family and myself through a lot. And I'm not that person anymore. I'm close to 3.5 years sober. And a big part of that is my little hero over here. Two heroes in my life, my dog and my wife. My wife is a strong person, and I'll ever be. I could run into 1,000 burning buildings and go to war 10 times over, and I still wouldn't be as tough as she is. So she's my hero. She's the rock that kept my family together. And she was the person I was able to see in me, the same person I couldn't even see anymore when I was doing really bad. And that's a blessing. I'm blessed to have her in my life and my kids. My son, Luis Cotelis, and my daughter, Julia. So again, I think I've kind of said everything. I'm really humbled to be here and to speak, and I know what it takes and how much goes into training a dog for a veteran, specifically for a veteran. And I thank you for everybody's support for this organization, this subchapter. Thank you.
Nicole, would you like to say a few words? And Chris and Angie, you'll be next. And I'm not apologizing for taking time here because this is a national program and I'm going to give it an hour. And I hope maybe in the future that our AHEPA, when they do the scheduling, they give us proper time and not have a golf outing at the same time as we have this program that saves lives. I think there's priorities here that AHEPA leadership needs to not come here and tell us, hey, they gotta go, they have a meeting. What about this one? I'm sorry, but and God bless Father Patrick, you plan to stay here. Angie?
Just have the guest speaker first.
Sorry?
Just have the guest speaker first. That would be
It's all right, this is what I was scheduling. Thank you.
No, but I mean, everybody left.
Doesn't matter. We're on our schedule.
The daughters were getting really ticked.
If it's important for you to come here to hear our program first, to understand what we are doing, and then to hear the veteran, this is what we're all about. And you know what? I'm doing my best. And Angie, would you want to come speak? I think what's important is the first time that we get to hear from the wife perspective. You know, sometimes the one that has to endure, the punching bag. And you know what? With her love and understanding, she got her husband back.
Hi everyone, my name's Nicole. Not really a good public speaker, so I did write down a couple of words on my phone, but somehow it got deleted. I don't know what, so I'm just going to speak from the heart. But I just want to say thank you for having us, and thank you, George, for inviting us here. It's a big honor to be here, and you know, every time I hear Manny speak, it's just, I don't know, it's always very inspiring. I know his story, I've lived the story, but it's just always so inspiring to hear him speak every time. You know, he gets up. You know, we've been together a long time, pre-deployment, during deployment, and after. And like he said, he definitely was a different person when he came back. But I've always loved him. I know the person he was and the person that he is. He just, as he said, he didn't see it, but I always did. So the only thing I could do was just love him, support him, and just stay by his side. Because I knew one day, no matter what, he'd be back, right? So I just always had that hope and that faith, and here he is. And a funny story that he didn't tell you was he really didn't know about service dogs, and he could get a service dog for PTSD. So he was in Lowe's one day, right? It was Lowe's. So he's always in Lowe's buying some kind of tool, you know, he's always there, right? But this was meant to be because he saw, you know, one of the trainers with one of the dogs. So he asked about it. He had no idea this was even you know, this was even something he could get. So he just went up and asked the trainer, you know, can you get a service dog for PTSD? And they started talking. She told him about the America's Vet Dog program that's out in Long Island in Smithtown, right where we live in Port Jeff. So that's how he ended up applying for the dog. And the trainer who he met was actually the dog who trained Oscar. So if that's not meant to be, I don't know what is, but he was meant to be in our lives. And, you know, we got Oscar in 2018 of September. And he's just brought light, he's brought joy, he's brought Manny so much calmness and joy and so much more independence. And to hear him get up and speak today, Oscar had so much to do with that. So he is just amazing. And he doesn't only bring that to Manny, he brings that to our entire family. We couldn't imagine a life without him, and he's just made us so much better and so much closer that I am so thankful for America's Vet Dogs and so thankful for Lowe's, because if he didn't go there, he might not have met the trainer and got to know about this program. So it was just meant to be. So thank you very much.
All right, I want to call upon the dear friend, and no need to do rest, because whoever needs to be here will be here. And for me, this is a good friend, and I want to call up Angie and Chris Kason.
You never want to follow the star of the show. Congratulations. We appreciate your service and everything we can do to help. So my name is Chris Cates, and I'm Supreme Treasurer of AHEPA. My wife Angie and I are so pleased to be here. We're here today because we want to sponsor a dog as well. Okay. I think every one of us who's here knows that there are challenges in life that we go through. And everybody has challenges. I don't care who the family is or the individual. You will see those challenges at some point in your life. We don't know what those challenges are. Every one of us sitting out here has a challenge in life that we're going through. We've been through that as well, and we continue to go through those challenges. World War II, Angie's uncle, MIA. Still MIA. Okay. Our oldest son, Michael, went through some challenges in life. And you deal with those challenges the best you can. He was not able to overcome those challenges. So we're here today to make a donation in his memory, in his honor, because we want to help other people who are going through those challenges in life. Do what you can to help others. Do what you can to help others that have challenges. Support our veterans. That is why we're here today, because of the veterans, because of the freedoms they give us. So we're very honored, pleased, and thank you all for being here at this moment. Thank you all for your support. Thank you.
And so this is the end of our program. Our program had a heartbeat. I hope you felt that heartbeat. Take it back with you, and let's help our veterans. And I have no excuses for being late. I don't think this is late. I'm here for a whole week, and I challenge everyone to meet and listen to many. So thank you for being here. God bless. And Chris, I will be there. Chris is my hero. Thank you. Hold on.
And George asked me to do a lot of things, but he forgot to tell you that there are bags of popcorn out there too for everyone. So don't forget to take a bag of popcorn, because I know when we're eating, we remember the entire program. So I'd like to ask a question. Is there a Felix Unger? There is a Felix?
That's his brother.
Oh, well, we're gonna try to find you in a left video then, because I've already talked to our past president. I haven't spoken to our secretary, but we're also going to get a dog now. So I know that because we have secretary, past president, and treasurer who's standing here. So I control the money. So we're going to get a dog. We're going to get a dog too, right, Chris? Yeah. And everybody who knows Christopher knows he'll start calling you too. So God bless you. Again, I'm going to say a short prayer for all of us who are here. O Christ our God, who fills all things, who blesses us, keeps us safe from harm, we ask that you bless us, our members, our AHEPA family. We ask that you bless the armed forces again for all their service and all their dedication. We also understand their difficulties and their problems, and we're here to help. That's what philanthropy is about. That's what the AHEPA is about. That's what the daughters are about. Always guide us and keep us safe from harm. And through troubled waters, you are a God who are present and everywhere. To you we send up glory, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, now and ever to the ages of ages. Amen. God bless you all. And again, this man is an unsung hero. He's also a veteran. I don't know if everybody knows that. He's also a veteran. He's an unsung hero. Takes no credit for what he does. He does it without anybody ever thanking him. So thank you, George, for all you do.